Do you know the simplest way that you can use AI to enhance your customer experience? Let me explain, but first let me take you back almost 60 years to MIT in the USA when Professor Joseph Weizenbaum created a computer program which he called Eliza. And Eliza was, nowadays we'd call it a chatbot. At the time it was called a chatterbot. And the way that Weizenbaum created this was he set up a computer program where somebody would type something in at the keyboard and Eliza would look for certain words that the person had typed and then reflect those words back to them in the form of a question or in the form of a conversation. And he used it to simulate a psychotherapist. And it was a particular kind of psychotherapy which would work exactly that way. Listen to the patient, notice keywords that they mentioned, and then ask questions. So if you typed in something about your mother, then Eliza would look up its list and say something like, so how was your relationship with your mother when you were a child? Okay, now, most people who used Eliza in Weizenbaum's university, they knew they were talking to a computer, but it seemed very human-like, and some people really got taken by having these fake conversations with a computer. In fact, Weizenbaum once said that his secretary, who was playing around with Eliza, asked him to leave the room so she could continue to have a private conversation with Eliza. Now, that was 60 years ago. Chatbots have come a long way since then. I had my first experience with them more than 30 years ago when I was studying computer science at the University of Western Australia, and we were looking at AI. We were studying AI, and we had Eliza on our university computers. And I remember once, one of my colleagues who I was studying with, he was very upset with one of the lecturers, and he spent hours on Eliza having this conversation with, he knew it was a fake, he knew it was a computer at the other end, but he had this very irate conversation about this lecturer that was lecturing us at the time. And he used it as a way to vent his anger. And little did he know that all the conversations that were happening with Eliza got stored on the university servers and could be looked at by somebody who had the right admin privileges. When he found out, he spent an anxious few days rushing around trying to find an IT person to delete those chats. Oh, how he laughed. And Andrew, if you're around listening to this, hello to you. But this was around even like 30 years ago. Now, of course, chatbots have become much more sophisticated. And if you want to use AI to enhance your customer experience, one of the simplest ways to do it is by using a chatbot to talk to your customers, your clients, your patients, your external stakeholders. Now, you still need to do it with the right and appropriate guardrails to make sure that chatbot does it correctly, but in terms of technology, it's one of the easiest things that you could do. And many people actually like talking to chatbots. If you're thinking about customer service, many customers don't want to have to get back to you at all. Because if it means they've got a complaint or a problem or something that needs to be fixed or a question that they couldn't get an answer to, so they'd rather not have to interact with you at all. But if they do, they would rather interact with a chatbot than have to spend hours on hold in a telephone line or talk to a variety of people and then they have to explain the problem all over again to every person they speak to. A chatbot, if it's done well, can answer their question quickly, and now you can have a natural conversation with those chatbots. And unlike Eliza 60 years ago, which was pre-programmed with a set of responses, the AI-based chatbots now are much more powerful. They look at the question from the customer. They try and interpret what they're asking. Some of them can even interpret the sentiment behind the question and see whether people are angry, upset, irritated, in a rush, and then decide how to respond to that. And of course, if they can't respond appropriately, the smart ones also know to escalate that to a person in the call center. Now, that works especially for routine inquiries. For the more complex inquiries and more complex and difficult and challenging scenarios, people would still rather talk to a person. And that's always going to be the case. However, even if you're talking to a person, the best organizations in their call centers have the call center operators, those agents, they have access to chatbots themselves to be able to improve the response that they give to their customers. Telstra is one example. So Telstra has two little chatbots that their call center agents use. One's called one sentence summary, where when somebody calls, the human agent can quickly ask about that customer and get a quick one sentence summary about the context of their question. And they've got another one called Ask Telstra, which again is not used by customers, it's used by the call center agents to interrogate and question information that's in Telstra's knowledge database so that they can respond more quickly to the customer. But whether it's customer facing or agent assisting in terms of how it works, a chatbot is one of the best things that you can do to enhance your customer experience. It's just one of the things that I'll be talking about in my online presentation, which is coming up very soon, about AI for customer experience. So we'll look at chatbots, but we'll look at a whole range of other things that you can do to enhance your customer experience. We'll also look at some of the guardrails and the governance and the precautions that you need to put into place to make sure that AI is helping, not harming, your customer experience. This is a free online presentation. You'll find the link to register here. It's coming up soon, so please register and please feel free to share the link and the registration with other people in your team and your network as well. I'll see you in the future.